The last time I wrote about Gavin Wax, president of the far-right New York Young Republican Club, it was after its annual fundraising dinner last December. That evening, joined by Donald Trump Jr., Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene and others from the far right of national and international politics, Wax described his vision of political activism. "We want all-out war," Wax said, at the ballot box. At time, this was a small component of broad, shallow rhetoric that implied the need for political violence and an extremist response of moment. Not insignificant, but still far from real anti-democratic actions. At NYYRC's 2023 dinner on Saturday, Wax returned to the theme. Everyone responsible for destroying our once great country will be held accountable after years of baseless investigations, government lies, and media lies against this man, according to Politico. But this time there was much less distance between what he said and the mechanism that would make it a reality. Unlike last year, Wax's comments were followed by a speech from Trump himself. "Gavin," Trump marveled toward the beginning. "That was a great speech." The crowd applauded. "Gavin," slogan. Then the man Wax saw as an instrument of right-wing vengeance. The man who had himself come up with the idea that he was such a tool, examined his words in depth. Much of his speech focused on familiar themes and rhetoric. You can't hire Lynyrd Skynyrd to play at your state fair without the expectation that the band will play Free Bird. But in a quote offered toward the end of his comments, Trump touched on a more recent development in his campaign. Loud cheers from the crowd followed by chants "Build the Wall." When asked about a Washington Post column suggesting that Trump seeks power outside of the democratic process, Hannity mentioned that he wants to build a wall on the U.S Mexico border and expand oil exploration. That's why Trump said outside of his first day in office that he didn't want to be a dictator. Build a wall. Or drill. If you look at this idea carefully, it doesn't make much sense. What does being a dictator mean in this context? What does he hope to do with the kind of absolute power that has been limited until then? Those familiar with Trump's first term in office may have an answer. The 2016 presidential campaign focused heavily on building a wall on the border. After taking office, it turned out that this was very difficult to do. Walls are costly, and presidents are limited in what they can spend. So Trump declared a national emergency, which allowed him to pull funds from other parts of the government for wall construction. This happened within the limits of his presidential powers. But even at the time he appeared to be pushing those limits. Again, it's unclear whether Trump came to the Hannity interview with the idea that this was a pattern he would repeat for a similar purpose. However, fact that he presented the same examples to applause in front of NYYRC team shows T.